time. Every time you come this way, I'ma hit you. Let's go. You don't want no problem, bro.
Welcome to the Zone Coverage Football Show, your pre-game build-up to NFL Sunday.
It's about to get ugly. I'm eating burritos bigger than you. You're having one of those days. Hey, baby, you're having one of those days.
Coming at you live from Tees Towers is your host, Mark Tees. Hello, and welcome along to the Zone Coverage Football Show. Are we on week 5 of the season? Mark Tees here. I'll be your guide for the next 90 minutes as we delve yet again into another week of the wonderful world of pigskin. But before we get to the nitty gritty, let's get some of the formalities out of the way. First up, if you are listening live, and hopefully we have a strong connection, we will talk about the Wembley woes in a minute. But listening live, got 2 options here. You've got the TuneIn app and the Spreaker app. Again, the Spreaker app, the cool thing with this is we've got the live chat room and it is up and running today. I'm happy to announce that this is good. In the chat room so far we have Robert and we have John Cartwright. So good afternoon, gentlemen. And yes, I have renamed my fantasy team to TC's Tossers. This is because I have started off 0-4. Yes, we will get to that in a minute. I think the word Titans of TC, they are no longer Titans. They are just an absolute mess. Back to the live options. We mentioned the Spreaker app. Yeah, TuneIn app. Either of them, guys, if you are signing up, you've got a Facebook, Twitter account, it's all free. Search your Zone Coverage Football Show and come and join in the fun. Beyond that, you'll find us iTunes, Stitcher, I think we're on SoundCloud, as even this somehow gets transferred into a YouTube thing. So if you want to listen back when you can, you've got no excuses this week. There's no Premier League, so get on, come and join the show. And if you want to connect with me via social media, feel free to do so. The usual lines of communication are open. We have Twitter at Zone Coverage FS, Facebook page, Instagram, but I don't really bother with that, Google Plus and all that sort of thing. The phone lines, I'm going to need help today. We have a few features missing, so phone lines, the numbers are as follows. Call and text the show on 07444 048 266. Right, so that is, what was that now? 07444 048 266, and Skype in as well, especially if you're overseas. The best way to contact the show would be via Skype, and the name for that is Teesmister. That's TEECE Mister. Again, if that mobile number I give out, that is on one of the big networks. So if you've got inclusive minutes, inclusive text, it's not going to cost you anything. It's just going to come out of your allowance. Again, if you are overseas, Teesmister on Skype. Unless you are absolutely loaded and fancy being in a few dollars, feel free. Right then, who else is in the chat? Will Davis has just popped in, as has David as well. So good afternoon, gents. So yes, last week, let's get into this. Obviously, I tried to do the show live from Wembley. In theory, it was a very, very good idea, but the setup that I've got home is a giant computer screen and all the technology that you could basically slap out an album if you wanted to. So the idea of going down to Wembley and doing the show via my mobile phone and a microphone that connected into the phone was a fantastic idea, but the internet connection, as we do know, well, I do know now, around Wembley is not the best. So I do believe at one point that I think the show reconnected 10 times. When I got home and got to iTunes, there was like 10 versions of the show. Some were 26 seconds long, some were 12 minutes long. I tried to piece together the show the best I could. We did go for an hour, and I do believe it got around about 29 minutes of that. We missed some of the good stuff as well. I think we missed the fancy advice off there. We even missed my old man chatting as well, so that was good to throw him under the bus. So I can only apologise from my end, folks. It didn't pan out, so it's a lesson learned, and we'll try and figure something out going forward. What I need is press box access, but the click within the NFL UK doesn't seem to like the Zone Coverage Football Show, as we've already been turned down for the next batch of media credentials for the Bills-Jags game. So boo-hoo to the bigwigs at the top. They don't seem to like what we're doing here, but screw them. We've got our own community, and we will get a show out regardless. If we have to break into Wembley, hijack the internet and all that, we shall do that. Anyway, a few shout-outs. The last thing I'm going to say about Wembley, all the guys that I met down there, it was fantastic. Obviously got to talk to Tom. Matt Phillips come over, said hi as well. I know Terry was trying to make his way over as well. Unfortunately, couldn't connect with Terry. All the guys from the No Fly Zone radio show, they sort of were waving flags around me, taking pictures and all sorts. We met Biff, Rich Tinley, Tony. The list is absolutely endless and endless and endless. So if I've missed anyone out there on that list, I do apologise, and thank you for coming over and saying hello. And my dad also passes on it. Much thanks as well for making him feel welcome. So he had a good day out, and anyone that's been to the Wembley games, you know how they fire them T-shirts into the crowd? Is it the party people? They have their men on stilts and something. I've never seen my dad move so quick in all his life. He sees this T-shirt coming over out of his peripheral vision, and he's gone. He is gone. Jumps on it. This poor kid in the next row is just sat there looking in disgust as the cat that was my dad jumped out of his seat, got this T-shirt, handed it to me. This poor kid, disheartened. So if you were that sad little 8-year-old boy that didn't get a T-shirt because my dad's reflexes, apologies, but it fits me quite well. So one of them things, a life lesson learned. Be quicker out your seat when people are firing T-shirts into the crowd. Right then, let's Let's go back into the chat room. What is happening here? So John's in there, as I mentioned. Terry's just joined as well. Yeah, the parts we heard were good. Just heard a lot of it twice or more. Yeah, there's a lot of repeating stuff and that. So we will figure it out as we go forward. So thanks for joining us again on the Zone Coverage Football Show today. We have some form of order, hopefully. What have we got coming up for you on the show today? We're going to do the hot route. So we've got that to reel off in a minute. I'm going to touch on the news. No fan versus fan this week. And boo-hoo to the people that I reached out to that couldn't even be bothered to reply to me. So I'm curious of what's going on here. We're not getting media credentials. People really not communicating backwards. Some sort of hex or some underground chit-chat going on. So, well, we'll figure that out. So hopefully we'll get fan versus fan back next week. So we do have the fantasy advice coming up from the guys over at Dundee NFL. So that'll be dropping around about 4:30. Dennis Moss, the resident Cowboys fan, who was out and about doing the 31 Stadium tour. We are aiming to get Dennis on the show in around about 20 minutes. So Dennis is going to be on his way to Cowboys Stadium for the Patriots-Cowboys tonight. So hopefully we can contact Dennis, get him on the show, find out how he's been going on. I think he's on about 10 or his 11th stadium at the moment. So hopefully we will catch up with him. As I said, no fan versus fan. Tom from Huddle, I have to mention Tom from Huddle. The little man's been taken into hospital, so we'll have no Tom this week. So all I could say really is, Tom, I hope that everything's okay with the little man, and I shall speak to you soon. So best wishes with all that, buddy. Beyond that then, what else do we have? We got we haven't got fan versus fan. We've got the Love Line, do a few game previews. I'm going to have to talk fantasy football as well because my team absolutely stinks, and I'm sort of cursed at the moment. I dropped Ruben Randall, and we're dropping Ruben Randall. He went off against the Redskins, and then I thought, you know what? Frank Gore's not playing all that well. I'll drop him. Of about 14 points on Thursday night, so I am clearly cursed. So this is not good, my end at all. So again, folks, if you want to interact with me today, I'm probably going to need some help because I have no idea how long the show could be running for today. Aiming to do the full 90. If we can't get in touch with Dennis, and we've got various bits and bobs that are not happening today, we will push through. I will just have to talk utter nonsense. The phone lines 07440 48266 going to be needed today, in all fairness. So just going to check in on Twitter at Zone Coverage FS. If you want to hit me up. Anyone else that went to Wembley, how did you enjoy the game? Was it a good experience? Was it the first time you went? And I do believe that Ashley, when he rung the other week, he was asking about tickets and where people like to sit and stuff like that. So if you want to just chit chat about that, feel free at Zone Coverage FS, best protocol, or if you want to join in via the chat room on the good old Spreaker app, feel free. Right then, let's do this.
Hot Route. Vote for your favorite play of the week.
So this week's Hot Route, we have 4 highlights. Again, I cannot get highlights from every game. It's mainly the televised game. So obviously, You know me, if the Jets are on TV and I can get a good highlight, they're going to be in the mix. We've got a highlight from the Giants-Bills game, highlight from the Cowboys-Saints game, and a highlight from the Lions-Seahawks game. So I'm going to drop in the chat room while this is playing. So I shall see you the other side of this, and I will give you the hashtags afterwards. So enjoy this week's Hot Route.
Hot Route. Vote for your favorite play of the week.
This will be the game. Miami must convert to have any life. 4th and 10 from the Jets' 26. Tannehill back to pass, looking towards the left side, towards the end zone. Jump ball for Cameron. Who got it? The Jets did. It's picked off in the end zone. Picked off by the Jets. Marcus Williams, one of the nickelbacks, makes the play, and the Jets are going to win here in London.
Manning reluctantly drops back into a shotgun, single back left. Multiple bodies linger near the box. 5-man rush, a lob, screen, left side. Jennings slips through a hit, has the first down, 45-40. Hopping past the defender, 35-30, 25-20. Stiff arms to man, 15, 10-5, touchdown, Giants! A miracle gallop by Rashad Jennings, who was down twice. And he goes 51 yards on a screen for a score. The Giants surge ahead 22-10 here in the fourth quarter.
2nd down and 10 at the 20-yard line. Breeze alone in the backfield as he drops to throw. Down the sideline. Spiller's got it at the 40. Breaks a tackle at midfield. Off to the races at the 30, the 20, the 10. C.J. Spiller has done it all the way home. The Saints win it 26-20. C.J. Spiller scoots down the right sideline for 6, and the Saints have their first win of the year in overtime, 26-20. The 400th touchdown pass in the career of Drew Brees gives the Saints win number 1 in 2015.
Shotgun snap. Drops back 3, throws a line drive pass, caught at the 10, down to the 5, diving in. It's Calvin Johnson with the touchdown. Oh, wait a minute. He was hit and he fumbled out of the end zone. He was hit at the goal line, looked like he had dived across, and the ball then was knocked.
Fumbled the ball prior to the goal line. It went out of the end zone. It is a touchback. Seattle's ball, first down at the 20.
He fumbles just as he was approaching the goal line. Of course, they will look at every play.
And it was a little return route. You had Kerry Williams against Calvin Johnson again. He started inside.
Do you know what? Cam Chancellor punched the ball away before he hit the goal line.
Bounced out. Great play. He was going for the end zone. Cam Chancellor did a tremendous job. He makes a fist. You watch him at the end. He makes a fist, and he punches for the ball, and it looks on the replay like he got it just before it crossed the goal line. I think this is going to stand.
So there we have it then, this week's Hot Route. We had the first one was an interception via Jets DB Marcus Williams, and the calls for that game was via Kevin Lee. Next up was the Rashad Jennings 51-yard touchdown from the Giants-Bills game. The call there was via John Sadak. And then the next one up was the Spiller 80-yard game-winning touchdown from the Cowboys-Saints game, calls via Kevin Colger. And last but not least was that, I can't read my notes, Cam Chancellor punch as Megatron was going into the end zone from the Lions Seahawks game on the Monday night. Those calls via Kevin Harlan and Kurt Warner. There's a lot of love going already into the Spiller for CJ Spiller, I should say. So we've got plenty of votes there, and also Cam's got a couple there. So if you want to vote via the chat room, most of the guys have already done that. Robert called the Spiller one before I'd even mentioned it, so I did say, can you see my notes or not? So a lot of love for Spiller. Chancellor's got a couple of votes, so just get your votes in at Zone Coverage FS. Hashtags are hashtag Williams, hashtag Jennings, hashtag Spiller, hashtag Cam. Just because I forgot to spell Chancellor. I couldn't do it off the top of my head, so we went for Cam. Anyway, right. Dennis has been in touch. We have contact via Dennis. We have an alternative number to ring him on. So this has got car crash written all over it, but after last week's shenanigans, car crash is something I am specialising in. So we will try and call Dennis in a moment. So I shall send him a text, get that on ongoing. So right then, so keep your votes coming in. We'll get to Dennis in a moment. We should do the NFL news, get that out of the way first and foremost. NFL news. Rightio then. Yes, on the back of the Jets-Dolphins games, the Dolphins have decided to part ways with head coach Joe Philbin. This happened on Monday, and they've already got their replacement in the interim. That's tight ends coach Dan Campbell. So Dan Campbell's first port of call was the Oklahoma drill, so trying to toughen up some of the team there, mix things up. So we shall see how that goes. Also on Thursday then, defensive coordinator Kevin Coyle, he was also fired and taken over from Coyle as defensive back coach Lou Anarumo. Anyway, it's Lou. Lou's taken over. That's all you need now. It's a mess in Miami, and I'm loving it. Next up then is Redskins tight end Jordan Reed. He's currently in the concussion protocol. Is that right? Yeah. He's also got an MCL sprain. Cowboys running back Lance Dunbar, he's done for the season. Torn ACL, MCL. That happened during the Saints game on Sunday night. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they released kicker Kyle Brinzer, and then they brought back Connor Barth as his replacement. The Lions starting defensive tackle Tyron Walker, he's having surgery for a broken fibula and dislocated ankle. That happened in the game Monday night, and that looked nasty in all fairness. The Bills have signed running back Boom Herron following the fellow running back Carlos Williams. He's under the concussion protocol at the moment. And the Niners announced that they have acquired Gerald Hodges from the Minnesota Vikings. This happened on Tuesday. The Vikings will receive center Nick Easton and a late round draft pick in exchange for the linebacker. Giants Mardor / baby wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. He's been fined $8,681 after a video appeared of him punching Buffalo Bills safety Duke Williams. There's sort of a lot of chit-chatter about Odell Beckham at the moment. Obviously, that catch propelled him to crazy heights of fame, and since then it seems like people have been getting into his head. There was a story earlier on, I think it was around about training camp now, where his fellow teammates were winding him up, saying, oh, he's too like showbiz for the rest of them and stuff. So it seems that you can get under Odell Beckham Jr.'s skin. Hopefully that's nothing that will affect his game. And then I think I've seen another report as well where Jets Cromartie, cornerback Antonio Cromartie's come out and said he's a one-year wonder. So seems the heat is on for Odell Beckham. Can he continue to perform at the high level we've become accustomed to? I know it's only 1 year, and he did set the bar ridiculously high. So we shall see how this sort of pans out going forward. Also, next up then, talking of the Bills, on Wednesday the Bills announced that they have signed veteran kicker Billy Cundiff. He was signed to the team's 53-man roster, but I've not heard anything yet if they've released Dan Carpenter. So basically, Dan Carpenter, you are on watch, buddy. Patriots, they have signed running back Dion Lewis to a contract extension already. This is believed to be worth around about $5 million. The contract is around about $2.6 million as a base salary. There's $2 million on the table in incentives, and he also got a $600. That seems cheap. $600,000 signing bonus, I should say. How funny would that be if you got like a $50 million contract and you got a $600? Oh God, signing bonus. My mind's gone into it. The sun fried my brain at Wembley. Right then, there's still a few votes coming in on this week's Hot Route again. That is Williams, Jennings, Spiller, or Chancellor. Just take those votes down as we go. John, in regards to Odell Beckham, he's still on course for 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns. That's based on his 4 games, and people are freaking out about him. Yeah, it's the pressure, the good old pressure of the NFL and the media over there. Right then, next up on the news, where was I? Yes, we just done the running back Dion Lewis contract. Buffalo Bills defensive end Jerry Hughes, he got double fined last week, and those fines equate to just over $30,000. He was fined $23,152 for abusive language towards an official. He was also fined $8,681 for unnecessary roughness, and that was a headbutting the Giants rookie tackle, Eric Flowers. I'm confused about this fines. I'm sure I mentioned it last year. $23,152 is a bizarre amount. Where did he pluck this from? Same as the $8,681. Let's say it's 10 grand for some fine, 5 grand for something else, 15 grand for something else, 20 grand for whatever. They just like someone's just put a calculator on the side, whack all the numbers, and fine him that amount, and then it all goes to charity, and that's fantastic. But it's a very, very bizarre fining scheme, whatever they've got there. Anyway, back to the news. The Patriots, they cut veteran cornerback Bradley Fletcher. Fletcher, he got benched after giving up several big plays during the first couple of weeks of the season. Obviously, as we know, Terrell Brown and Malcolm Butler have been the starters at corner since. Talking of cornerbacks, 49ers have released Sharice Wright. Wright was moaning early on in the season, saying he wanted a release if the team were unable to trade him. He signed a 1-year, $3 million contract in March, and he's not yet to play a snap for the team. So he is now a free agent. So that is your news. That's all I've seen at the end of the moment. So yes, very, very odd. Yes, the news about Daniel Fowles for the Giants. Yeah, he's got some sort of bizarre, was it an infection or something? I did see the news on that as I was coming on air. I didn't have time to write that down. So, very, very grave news. And as John puts it in the chat room, an injection in hospital and bang, your career could be done. So, very, very scary news regarding Daniel Fowles. I'm sorry I have not got the full details on that story, but I'm sure if you hit up NFL.com, you will see that there. Right, we are going to attempt to call Dennis, so we shall see how this pans out. So we are trying to call Dennis over in the good old US of A. Let's say catch up with his 31 tour, stadium tour. It's at @AsBowden on Twitter, and the Wrong Shaped Balls tour. So hopefully, and I do, but hopefully that we can get Dennis on if we can just get this thing to work. I don't even know what's going on here. We'll just get rid of that. I'm not sure what happened there. Call phones. That would be the best way to do this. Right then. Here we go. So we need to see. I should have done this beforehand, shouldn't I? It's very, as always, you didn't miss this last week, did you? All this nonsense there is. Right, Dennis, I am trying my best now to ring you. It's not easy. Again, fan versus fan. If you want to be on fan versus fan, someone hit me up this week. Let me know that you want to play. That is play at Zone Coverage FS on Twitter. And also Zone Coverage Football Show at mail.com. So hopefully we can get Dennis on the line. I do hope that we can. So we are trying to call this now. We have a ringtone. That's always a good sign. Always good. Come on, Dennis. I hope I've got this number right.
Hello.
Hello, Dennis.
Hello, Mark.
Oh, fantastic. I was worried that we wouldn't be able to get in touch with you. How the hell are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry about my other phone. It just packed up on me, it completely let me down, and I was desperate to contact a few people, including you, and I thought, oh no, I'm not going to get on the show.
You've saved me bacon today, Dennis. I am struggling in all honesty. So right there, Dennis, in case we've got a few new listeners and stuff, you are currently in the midst of a 31 stadium tour, obviously all the NFL stadiums over there in America. Yep. Your journey started a couple of days. Was it the Tuesday before the game opener in New England? How's it been so far?
It's been fantastic. It's been up and down, to be honest. I mean, I started off, as you just mentioned, in New England for the first game, and boy, I went to the first game and it had the fright of my life because I almost missed it because I had terrible, horrendous jet lag. And the the first game I went to was actually 2 days after I left the UK, so the jet lag really kicked in. And the game was a night game, which started 8:30 US time, which in fact in my body was 1:30 in the morning. And on the way to the game, to get to the Patriot Stadium, if you're not driving, the only option is a thing called the Patriot train, which I got on. But just as I was going to get on the train, there was an announcement that you was not allowed to take a bag on the train or to the stadium. And I had a tiny little rucksack. And I thought, oh no, I can't take my bag. Where can I leave it? And I really nearly went home. And I just got very, very lucky that there was a guy that was looking after people's bags. So my tour nearly died before I even got to the first game.
That would have been rough.
But that was one of a couple of downsides, but everything else has been up. It's just been amazing.
How many stadiums have you hit then so far, Dennis? You've got to be double figures. I'm losing track.
No, I wished. Well, I wished. I'm on number 10 today.
Number 10
that's
today.
my team. I'm a Cowboys fan, so today's the big one for me. So I've done 9.
9 so far.
So,
cool.
9 so far.
What are the no pressure then? What are the 9 that you've been to?
Okay, this is easier. I mean, in my head, I've been going through it so many times. It's just simple for. I could probably tell you every single one I'm going to in order. The first stadium I started at was the Patriots.
Yeah.
Then I went down to Washington.
Yeah.
Into Kansas, back to Philadelphia, up to Minnesota. Next to it all was Green Bay, down to Pittsburgh, across to Chicago, down to Houston, and today I'm in Dallas.
Wow, that's some miles already. That is.
It is. I mean, like I told you before, Mark, when we spoke the previous time, the route that I chose took me about 2 weeks to go through to actually find the route that was good for me. I mean, people who are listening now might think 2 weeks. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll challenge anyone out there now to try and find a route they can go through every stadium in 17 weeks and find a route that's next to each other. It's just not possible.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of places, and there was a couple of games that I really wanted to go to. One was Dallas and Philadelphia, and I'll tell you some funny stories about that in a minute. But the second one was Minnesota and Green Bay, because they're kind of isolated.
Yeah.
And there was only one point within the route that I could see them two together. And that was a Sunday and a Monday game, so I had a real challenge to get across from Minnesota to Green Bay in one day. And like I say, if I didn't do that then, I'd have had to gone all the way back to, say, Minnesota if I'd gone to Green Bay. And they're just miles away from all of the others, so that was a real challenge. So the route itself that I've chosen, a couple of weeks, I do go off the beaten track to go back to a route that's much, much better. Like where I am now, I've got a lovely little run of about 4 or 5 weeks where I don't even need to catch a plane.
Oh, nice. That's good. I've seen that you've been getting on, is it the Greyhound buses? What are they like?
Oh, mate, don't. Anyone out there want to travel by Greyhound, they're probably the worst bus line I've ever travelled on all over the world. They never go off on time. The staff are generally rude.
Oh, no.
The Wi-Fi never works. I mean, when you do a long bus ride like I've been doing, and I've got one tomorrow, which is 12 hours over the night to New Orleans, which is fine of an evening if there's Wi-Fi and the sockets work, because when you have Wi-Fi, you can really entertain yourself in many ways. I've got a laptop. I can watch a film. I can talk to you. I can email, Twitter, you name it. I can do it. But when you've got no Wi-Fi, then 12 hours are a long ride.
Yeah,
definitely. So they're not great Greyhound. They really ain't.
Ah, cool. I've got a question coming in. I don't know if you want to disclose this. I asked if anyone wanted to know. Few people are curious. I don't know if you could give like a ballpark figure. How much does the trip actually cost to do, Dennis? It's up to you if you don't want to say or not.
No. Listen, anyone can ask me anything. I'll ask any question at all. So if there's anyone listening now wants to ask me anything at all, go for it.
I think people are now counting the pennies. So if I don't have anything for Christmas, and I save this and that.
I'll tell you what, let me just give you a little rundown and I'll give you an answer. The thing is, when you're away travelling like this, some of the most expensive things are accommodation, which can be, so I'm going into cheap hostels.
Yeah.
I'm now staying with a guy called James who's standing next to me. I'm actually on his phone He's really looking after me. This is a thing called Airbnb. And I've also done a thing called Couchsurfing, where you stay at people's houses for free.
Oh, wow.
So that helps keep the costs down.
Yeah.
Secondly, the most expensive, another expensive thing here in the States is the food. It really is dear. So when you go to restaurants, the thing is, you buy something for $16, then you have to put on the tax and the tip.
Yeah.
So $16 automatically turns into nearly $25.
Yeah.
So that's expensive, as is the booze. I mean, I like a drink. So I've not been drinking. When you go to the stadiums, Mark, and I kid you not, you buy a can of beer, which you can get in Tesco's for £1. They're asking $9.
Wow.
So occasionally I will buy one, not being a tight ass. It's just in my opinion, everything's got its value, and I can't pay £7 for one of them. So I might buy one occasionally. So there you have it. So I'm trying to penny pinch as much as I possibly can. So I don't really know what it's going to cost me, but I reckon on an estimate, and I'll tell you at the end when I get home and we have another chat, I'm expecting it's going to cost me between, I reckon, about 15 grand. And that is being really, really conservative.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you another cost is obviously the tickets. So, and you're going to love this one. I paid $250, which is around about 200 quid for the first game, because obviously the Patriots were the champions. It was the first game of the season. It was all big, big news. So, and tickets were going for more than that. So $250 for me wasn't so bad. The next game in Washington, I got a ticket off the ticket agencies. Two of them are giving me tickets for a good discount, which is RazorGator, and the best one is called TickPick. So if anybody is going to an NFL game, go to TickPick, because they charge no commission and their tickets are cheap. So game 2, I went to the Redskins, and I paid $32.
Wow.
So then in Kansas, I paid a little bit more, about $100, because it was against Denver.
Yeah.
So now I know how it works. I bought a ticket yesterday for $1 to see a game, which is going to be St. Louis Cardinals against the Rams. And I also bought 2 others. One's in Arizona and one was in somewhere else. $5.
Wow.
So it can be done.
Yeah.
So that levels itself out. So over the course of the tour, when I look at the $250 and then I put it next to the $1, it evens itself out to probably around about $50 a game.
Yeah, which is not too bad at all. Considering the Wembley tickets that I attended, I think the cheapest around about £35, so that probably equates to about $50 there, give or take.
Yeah, I'd say so, but like I mentioned, I'm kind of learning how the system works. I'm going to the Cowboys game today, and I haven't even got a ticket, but I'm tailgating with some people, and when I was in Chicago two games ago, it was the first game I went to without a ticket, because I wasn't prepared to pay $150 to watch the Bears play the Raiders, because they're both poor teams in my opinion, and they was on the day, to be honest. It was a really exciting game, because there was 2 teams who just didn't want to win the game, and the Bears won with the last kick of the game, which was really great. And I went to the stadium without a ticket, gambling, but I knew I could pay at the door, and just get a cheap ticket, because I did it in Philadelphia, and so I went to the game, and do you know what? I went to the tailgate, and I wandered around, and the first bunch of people I asked, and the question I use as an English person is, "Hi guys, I'm from England, I'm just here on holiday, and can I pay at the door, do you know?"
Yeah.
The very first person I asked said, "Hey buddy, you after a ticket?" So I'm like, "Yes, I am." He said, "I've got a spare one." Well, he sold me a ticket which was worth $130 for $50.
Wow, that's good.
So So I'm hoping it happens today. If it doesn't, I'm stuck.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it will.
Brilliant. I've got another couple of questions. David's actually over in the States in December. He asks, will you be around Atlanta or Tennessee in December, out of curiosity?
No, I won't. I'll tell you why. Because I'm in Tennessee next Sunday, and I'm being really looked after by someone over there. There's a friend of a friend who's come up trumps, and a lot of people promised me things and let me down, including someone today.
Yeah.
But a guy in Tennessee is going to take me to the game next week.
Oh,
so I'm going to be well looked after. He's one of the co-owners of the Grand Ole Opry.
Oh,
so he's a big ball player in Nashville. So he's offered to take me to he ain't going to be there on the game, but his son's going to take me. Then they're going to take me ice hockey. Then they want to take me to the Opry. So they're giving me the royal treatment.
You're doing well.
And so, God bless him. So that's a game I'm going to get in for free. But then I go to Indianapolis and then on to Atlanta. So I know, David, I won't be in there in December.
No worries. David says, damn, he wanted to meet up with you. Talking of meeting up with you, you met up with Ashley, who I believe was driving. It sounded like he was driving a washing machine on his journey to meet you. So how was Ashley? I saw a picture on Twitter.
He was,
Did he look after you?
Lovely guy. If he's listening now, Ashley, thanks for your comments on Twitter yesterday when you said you hope for the first time on my tour that the Cowboys get beat, because he's a Patriots fan.
Oh, brilliant. Cool.
But I did meet with Ashley. We kept in touch, and I met him at the game in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And it was really great. He's a lovely guy. We got on really well. He's an expat. He's an English guy living over in Minneapolis. And we watched some of the game together because he had seats away from me. And I joined him for the fourth quarter. It was a beautiful day. The sun was shining. It's a lovely stadium in Minneapolis. And I quite like the Vikings for some reason. I like the colour of their outfits. I've always actually had a little soft spot for the Vikings. So it was really nice. I enjoyed my time there in Minneapolis.
Awesome. Right then, Dennis, I've got a few questions, just some generic questions that I'm going to ask, really. What's the best stadiums you've been to so far? The best one. Best food. What's the best food?
The best food?
Yeah.
Oh, that's easy. That's very, very easy. None of them. Because it's just like, well, one, and I'll tell you a couple of reasons why. One, because I've not tried too many.
Yeah.
Two, because I don't like cheese, as you might have seen my picture that I sent you from Green Bay with the cheese.
I did.
Well, I hate cheese with a passion. I don't like it at all. And if you don't like cheese in America, you're in trouble, because they put cheese on absolutely everything.
Oh, brilliant.
So there's not a lot of choice for me other than one thing that I've been eating, which is hot dogs. So I've had a few from the stadiums, but again, they're so expensive, and they're free bite hot dogs, and you spend like $7, which is a $5, on like a hot dog that free bites and it's gone.
Oh.
So I try to prepare a little bit and eat before I get to the games.
Brilliant.
Again, just to save the money.
Yeah, I don't blame you. So I did mention best stadium. So what's the best stadium you've seen so far then?
Well, again, it's a difficult question because all of them are just high-tech and beautiful stadiums.
Yeah.
But I honestly think the last one I went to was in Houston.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that was the best one I've been to so far. Yeah. So the Houston Texans.
Cool. Next one. Who's the best player that you've seen? And this is also another tough question because you've seen some superstars out there.
The best player I've seen?
Yeah.
Oh, that's easy. That's got to be Tony Romo.
A bit biased there.
Well, the thing is, the Cowboys won the first two games when he played, and I was at the second. Was it the second game? Yeah, it was. I was in Philadelphia for the second game, and I've got to tell you and your listeners, I wore a Dallas shirt that day.
You're brave.
Boy,
man.
Did I take some stick.
I was going to say them. Eagles fans are brutal.
Well, I've told people since the game, and they said, "Are you mad? These guys are crazy." And I wore my Dallas Cowboys T-shirt and a hat, and I walked right through their tailgate, and I didn't see a single Cowboys fan in a shirt in that area.
Wow!
But there were some, but not as many as I expected. And I tell you what, I really took some stick.
Yeah, fair play to you. Take some balls, do that.
Yeah, so definitely the best players I've seen, without question. It has to be Aaron Rodgers, because I saw the Packers played the Chiefs, and he just looked, when he had the ball in his hand, you knew he was going to find somebody.
Yeah.
And I can go the flip side of that. I was in Chicago, and Jay Cutler, who got a bit of good press after the game, because the Bears won with the last kick of the game, but I have to say, I thought he was awful. I did, and if there's any Bears fans out there now, I'm sorry to say this, but he's on $18 million a year, and he was throwing some terrible passes, and he dropped the ball twice, and from the snap, I thought he was really poor. Yeah. So they're the best and the worst, I reckon.
Right, the one last best and worst then that I will give you. You've sort of answered the worst in respect to the fans. You've said a lot of people have been very accommodating. So who's been sort of like the most hospitable fans, the best sort of people that you've met so far then? That's another difficult one, but I'll tell you what, it'd have to be, again, the Texans fans, because I was walking through a tailgate, and I've done this almost every time, and I've just played the Englishman's card. Hi, guys, I'm from England. What's that food you're eating? Just so I can blag some ribs or a burger or something. And it's happened a couple of times, but
when I was at the Texans Stadium, I got talking to this guy. Well, they just give me the treatment. They first of all gave me a beer, cooked me everything I wanted to eat, then gave me some Jack Daniels, and then offered me dessert, and they were just fantastic. So, again, it'd have to be Houston, because
I've seen the
that was only
picture.
recently.
I saw the picture with the two ladies as well.
Oh, wow. Well, I put that on Facebook, and I challenged my friends to try and get me 100 likes. I think it's currently at 88. But I've been trying to do that at every stadium. Every time I see someone who's been wearing a crazy outfit, I've got no shame. I'll just rush over to them and say, "Excuse me, I'm from England." I use that line every time. Would it be possible for me to have a picture with you? And there's some crazy NFL fans here, fully dressed up in face paint, a whole outfit like a superhero. You name it, they're wearing it with pleasure and with pride. And it's just great to see, because you just don't see that at like an Arsenal game or a Stoke City match.
Oh, no.
So it's just brilliant to run over to somebody who's got like at the Vikings, there was a proper full Viking kitted out in all the gear. And I'm doing it every game I can to try and take pictures with them crazy people and the beautiful girls. So that's my kind of mission.
Yeah, Terry just says that in the chat room. Now he says, going full-on posh English accent works so well out there.
It does. You know what? I've had so many people say to me, "Man, just carry on talking." It's normally, I wish it was the younger girls. It's normally the older women. So I was at a bus stop one time in Minneapolis, and I was sitting there, and I just wanted to make sure I was at the right bus stop. So I was sat next to four of these older ladies, and it was, "Excuse me, ladies, am I at the right bus stop? I'm going into downtown." And the lady, she said, "Honey, just carry on talking. You can go anywhere." But she was about 75, so it wasn't kind of...
No.
I wish she was 25.
Another quick question then that's come in. Have you managed to catch any college games whilst you've been out there, or any other sporting events? Obviously, we're being in the cities and certain towns for a length of time.
Yep, I have. College games, no, because I just haven't got the time, because they normally have them on a Saturday.
Yeah.
So I'm trying my best to do games on Thursday, Sunday, which gives me more than enough time to get from one place to the next.
Yeah.
But I went to see the Chicago Bulls the other night in Chicago.
All right.
That was a night game, and that was a good experience. And I went to see the Minnesota Twins play baseball. And I have to say, after going to the baseball and to the basketball, it's just underlined how much I love the NFL, because them two sports are just not for me. I just don't connect with them.
No. Is it sort of like, out of curiosity, is it like a similar sort of vibe to like atmosphere? You're still getting the like eccentric fans, and from what I can gather, the overpriced food and stuff. Is it a similar vibe then around those sort of stadiums? Is there much like tailgating and stuff that associated with that?
What, you mean in the baseball and basketball?
Yeah.
Do you know what? There's no, as far as I can remember, especially on the baseball.
Yeah.
Now both of them, there's no tailgating.
Right.
So I think that the NFL is the unique thing. But for anybody that hasn't been to a tailgate, who doesn't even know what a tailgate is, it's just one big party, and it's just incredible. And it's the thing about tailgating, it starts so early. I mean, I'm meeting some people at 11 o'clock, and the game starts at 3:30. So, and it's just barbecue food. Is there drinking? There's music banging out. There's loads of things going on. There's people throwing footballs all over the place. There's kids playing. It is a cross between the circus, the fun fair, football. It's just an occasion. And what a lot of people do, they go to an NFL game. It's nothing like going to an English Premier League game, because you'll turn up, you might go to the pub for a quick couple of beers, then go to the game, watch the game, and go home. These people, you don't know what they're going to do. I could sit in a seat and there'll be 2 empty seats next to me, and someone will turn up at half-time. Or somebody will leave at half-time. It's just not about the game. It's about the whole bigger picture of the experience.
Yeah.
So for me, to go to the game is the important thing, because I want to watch the match.
Yeah.
But to the American audience, if they turn up and miss the first quarter, they don't care. They might watch the first quarter, then they'll watch the second quarter in the bar having a beer, like inside the stadium. So the game is just a small part of the whole bigger picture.
Oh, yeah, because like you say, we're used to rushing round. It was like, get your pint down your neck, go to the game, quick one at half-time and go. Like say, you can watch the first quarter out in the parking lot, enjoy your food, talk to your friends, and make your way in. And so, yeah, it seems a whole lot more relaxed.
Yeah. And a lot of people do leave a long way before the end, especially if obviously there's a big difference in the score and the game is pretty much over.
Yeah.
But it's quite common for people, I guess they want to get away from the stadium, for many, many people to leave the stadium in the fourth quarter. And what I've been doing, my little plan is I tend to buy some of the cheaper tickets.
Yeah.
And what I'll do at half-time or the second half, I'll go and sit in a much, much better seat because most of the people have gone home.
I like
and it's worked for me every time. Brilliant. So there's a little trick for fans. If you're going to go across to the States to watch a game, or if you're going to go last minute, just buy the cheapest ticket because you can move around the stadium. And as you've probably seen the photos I've sent to you, Mark, I've taken pictures from like all angles of the stadium. And that's where I start in my seat, take a picture, which is normally quite high up and by the corner flag, which is one of the best views for me, and they're the cheaper seats. But in the second half, I'll go down to the very, very expensive seats on the 50-yard line, halfway down, and take some really nice pictures.
Nice.
Because people have left.
Yeah. Cool. Where's your next stop then, Dennis? Did I hear New Orleans, did you say?
It is. Yeah, New Orleans. So I'm here today for this game. Yeah. Tomorrow I've got like a day. I'll get the night bus, Greyhound again, sadly for me, all the way down to New Orleans, which is a 12-hour overnight thing. I will be there till Friday, and I've got to book my next bus again, sadly, is Greyhound, because I wanted to go Megabus, but they do a trip, but I go via somewhere else, so it would be like twice as long. So I just jump on another Greyhound bus, and that's to Tennessee, to Nashville, the Titans. And I'm going to be recording another song, because as I told you before, I'm a musician, and I wrote this song, Like a Touchdown, which is the soundtrack to the tour, which is on my website, and I'm trying to get people to buy it. So I'm going to be in Nashville recording a very different song, which is a country song. And I've done that before. I've done 3 songs in Nashville, which I've recorded, which are on my website, thewrongshapedballs.com, so people can go to my music section and listen, or to my SoundCloud, it might be, which is again under Asbo Den, so people can listen to my music. So next stop is Nashville, and I'll be there for about a week. So there's a Thursday game that week, which I'm not going to. Then I'm going to Indianapolis on the Sunday, then Atlanta, and then I told you I've done 2 games over the whole of the route where they're very close together. I can manage a Sunday-Monday game, which is Atlanta to Carolina. Then I think I'm up to Cincinnati, and then Buffalo, which is where my friend lives, and they're actually taking me to the game in a limo, believe it or not. A stretch limo to the game. I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah, you are living the dream here. There's envy oozing everywhere, in the chat room, everything.
Well, the envy will get a little bit more when I tell you after the Bills game, I go and see your team, the Jets.
Yes, I got to see them last week, but the Wembley, it's not the same.
No, it's not. Well, at least they won, so that's a good thing.
There is that. I've got a tip for you, Dennis. Save you some dollars when you're in New Orleans. Get a cab down to Frenchman Street. There's some fantastic restaurants and bars down there. And it's a hell of a lot cheaper than Bourbon Street. Yep.
Okay, I'll take that on board. I've actually been there before. And I've only been there for a couple of days, so I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But, Bourbon Street is where everybody goes to.
Yeah.
So
get a cab to Frenchman Street. There's some nice places down there.
Okay, thanks for that.
No problem, buddy. Right then, Dennis, let's give out some Twitter handles. You give out your website, wrongshapedballs.com. Twitter is at AzBowden, AZBOWDEN, that correct?
No W, it's AZBODEN. No W.
AZBODEN, at AzBowden. What about Facebook as well?
Facebook's just my name. It's Dennis Moss. But if there's too many and you can't find me, if you put the word Wentworth, which is where I work, it's the golf club I work. Yeah. So if you put Dennis Moss and you can't find me, just put Dennis Moss Wentworth and it will come straight up. So you can follow me there on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram under the same handle of Asbo Den. I've got my full website. I also do a thing called Periscope, again under Asbo Den.
Yeah.
And what Periscope is, I can do live commentary, but the only sad thing is, Mark, is it's all done via Wi-Fi. If I'm on Wi-Fi, and it's a powerful signal, which it will be today in the Dallas Cowboys Stadium, I'll do a video live from the stadium on Periscope. But most of the time I've been trying to do it, the signal's not strong enough to open up the app. So I couldn't do it, and I was gutted, because I wanted to do it in every stadium, but some of the stadiums don't have Wi-Fi, and I'm working on an English phone. I've got an American phone that does have Wi-Fi, but it will not allow me to download the Periscope app. So I'm in a bit of a pickle between my two phones.
Yeah, I can imagine. Not to worry. Anyway, David has added you on Facebook. He said he managed to find you straight away.
Brilliant. Well, can I just have a shout out to one guy that I've met through you? There's a guy who's a big Miami Dolphins fan.
Yeah.
His name is David Bullen.
Yeah.
And there's another guy called Steve Blood. And these guys have been so fantastic. They've supported everything I've done. They're forwarding my tweets. They're helping me find friends. They're giving me advice. And they really are supporting me, which has been so fantastic. Because I love it when people support me, because I'm really, really grateful, because honestly, Mark, I've had so many people offer to help me and let me down.
That's great to hear.
Including today. I mean, some guy offered, a year ago, this guy said to me, he's connected to the family of Jerry Jones, and he said, don't worry, I'll get you in the stadium with all the top brass to watch a game of your choice. This was a year ago, and I've been in contact with this guy every kind of month saying, what's going on, update me. And he's gone, don't worry, you're in, until 2 days ago. And he said, I'm sorry, but I couldn't do it. And I'm like, dude, listen, we've been talking about this for a year, not a week, a year. So I had no accommodation. I've still got no ticket. He really has left me in the brown stuff.
Yeah.
So when someone does support me and they pull out what they promised, I can't say how grateful I am, because you've got no idea how difficult this trip has been. To get from stadium to stadium without a car has really been a challenge.
It's been, it sounds rough, like you say, them Greyhound buses and stuff. And Dennis, it's been a pleasure catching up with you. We're going to have to touch base again in a few more weeks to see how you're getting on.
Anytime.
Because that weather's going to turn soon, so that's going to be an interesting conversation, how you are. What do they call it, bundling up, don't they, where they wear pretty much everything.
Well, I'll tell you what, when I see your team, the Jets, it's going to be cold.
Yeah, it is.
So, and I've been to that stadium before in the winter. Boy, I've never felt cold like it.
It's only going to get worse.
Yeah.
Dennis, again, if you want to follow Dennis on Twitter, I will spell it correctly this time. It's at AZBODEN, Asboden. Instagram as well. I've just sent you a request for some bizarre reason. I wasn't following you on Instagram, Dennis.
Okay.
And it is the wrongshapedballs.com. Dennis Moss
That's
on
correct.
Facebook as well. So follow Dennis's fantastic journey. Stadium number 10, 21 to go. So a third of the way there, Dennis.
Yep, almost a third.
And the chat room is wishing you nothing but good luck apart from the Patriots game tonight. We have a few Patriots. Well, David is a Patriots fan, so the envy in the room is going through the roof, in all fairness.
Cheers, guys. Thanks so much for your support, and especially to you, Mark. Thank you, because you're the first guy that showed any interest in my tour. That really means a lot to me. So when I get to New York, if there's anything you want me to get you, just shout it out, and you've got it. So just that's a big thanks from me.
I was going to say, I know the budget's tight, so would it be like a plane tickets, a week off work? Is that a bit
I can't quite do that. I wish I could.
Well, if you don't ask, you don't get, do you? No, I'm only messing, Dennis.
Exactly.
Just to reiterate what you were saying, it's an absolute pleasure to check in with you and help support you on your journey. And I'm sure, like most of the people in the chat room and listening now, we're wishing nothing but the best. Have a safe journey, and we'll keep in touch as we go.
Cheers, guys. If anyone out there, can I ask just one favour to all your listeners? If there's anyone out there that knows any of the players, because there are a couple of people I've spoken to that direct message some of the players. If I could touch base with any players and they became my friends on Twitter, that would be worth its weight in gold, because a lot of these people have got a humongous fan base. And if I can tap into their fan base, it will help me, one, sell my song, which is going to help me pay for my trip.
Yeah.
And it might also open a few doors to get me into games. And also, I've had a really, really bad feedback from media. I mean, I thought Sky Sports would want to follow me, or Channel 4, or BBC, or NFL UK, anyone. You know, I touched base with them all. I was in touch with them all before I left. And I really thought I'd get better, support from the media, and I've had nothing.
Dennis,
so that's been a major disappointment.
All I will say, Dennis, is there is a click, and it's impossible to break. That's all I can say.
Right. So you know the deal. I mean, all the people I contacted, like Neil Reynolds and Matt Coons and Vernon Kay, who I've caddied for at Wentworth, they've just not shown any interest, and I've been so sad about that.
No, there's a lot of good people doing some good work, Dennis, but unless it's a case of not what, it's who, unfortunately. So, it's a bit rough.
That's a shame.
Well, we've got a good little gathering going here, and we'll get people supporting and spreading the word, and hopefully we can, someone somewhere along the way will come up trumps for you, buddy.
I really hope so. Thanks a million, Mark. I can't thank you enough.
Anytime, Dennis. I'll let you go. You've got some hardcore tailgating to go and enjoy.
I do, and I'll send you some pictures later.
Yes, but keep an eye out for you on Twitter and everything. And Dennis, I'll drop you an email, or you do so in a couple of days, and we'll stay in touch, and we'll get you back on the show in a few weeks.
Brilliant. Whenever you want, Mark, just let me know, and I'm all yours.
Will do. Cheers, Dennis.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks again, and thanks to all the listeners and all viewers, or whatever you call your people following you. Thanks very much.
No problem, Dennis. Take care, buddy. Speak soon.
Cheers, Mark.
Bye.
See ya. Bye-bye.
So there we have it. That was Dennis. How awesome is that? I am so envious. What a fantastic journey. Said he's been to the Patriots game. Oh, the Redskins. Who else did we have? The Chiefs, Minnesota, Green Bay, Steelers, Houston, Dallas tonight. Again, the wrongshapedbulls.com at AZBODEN on Twitter. Dennis Moss on Facebook. Asboden again on Instagram. Follow Dennis. Just retweet some stuff out to him. That sounds like an amazing journey. And as you heard there, we will get Dennis on the show in the next few weeks to sort of see how that journey is developing. Apart from those Greyhound buses. So if anyone knows anyone that works for Greyhound, I think Dennis is in some desperate need of some help. Right then. David says he knows someone. He hates Sky Sports and so on and so on. Yes, there's a certain sort of stuff going on there, but we won't go into that. Right then, appreciate your help there, David. What have we got? We're coming around about to 4:30, so it'll soon be time for some fantasy advice. I've got, like I said, we've got no Tom with the last minute news, but I have been scouring the internet, so I've got a bits of information regarding as to players that are injured, may not be playing, or may be playing, or game time decisions. So we will rattle that off as we go. Let's go chat with the guys over at Dundee NFL. So hopefully then we can get in touch with who's on today. Simon, I do believe. So Simon hopefully should be on Skype. So Simon, let's check in with you, buddy. Here we go. No, call Skype. Come on, Skype. Right then, keep those tweets coming in for the hot route this week. Again, Jennings, Williams, Spiller, and Cam for this week's hot route. It's been a while since we've had a vote. Still nothing getting... Simon. Call failed to Simon, so we will try that again with Simon. Dundee NFL for the Fantasy Guys, Fourth Down and Out podcast. Again, Huddle Magazine for Tom. No Tom this week, but huddlemagazine.com. Get on there. We cannot connect with Simon for some bizarre reason. We will try that again in a moment. So until we connect with Simon, let's do... where shall we go? Where shall we go next? Where shall we go? Let's talk about tonight's games. Yeah, let's get into the games tonight. Bye weeks this week. We have the Panthers, the Dolphins, the Vikings, and the Jets all on a bye. So first game on my docket, we have 2 1-3 teams. The Bears visit the Chiefs. Today, Bears got on the board last week. And as Dennis was saying, Cutler didn't play all that well, but the Bears looked a hell of a lot better with Cutler under centre rather than the week before with Jimmy Clausen. As for the Chiefs, they just have a rough schedule of late, and they need to improve on their third downs and especially within the red zone. Last week, was it 7 field goals? Absolutely crazy. Defences needs to improve. Injuries are absolutely crippling the Chiefs. wide receiver Jeremy Macklin, he's putting up some decent numbers, but again, it's these touchdowns that we are lacking. And John is very excited about this game, so he says, big Chiefs win, couple of pick sixes. Tonight, 6 p.m. game is on Sky Sports 2, if people didn't know that. That comes from Terry in the chat room, so appreciate that. Yeah, talking of Sky, Saints-Eagles is the game at 6, Patriots-Cowboys is the 9:25 game. The game that I'm going to be tuning in into, if I'm honest, is the Bengals-Seahawks. I desperately want to see that one. That could be one hell of a game. And that is a perfect segue into the 2-2 Seahawks at the Bengals 4-0. Andy Dalton. How good does Andy Dalton look, by the way? Yeah, I'm not drunk. Andy Dalton looks good. Yeah, I can't believe I've said that. That's totally thrown me. He does look all good. He looks fantastic. The words will not come out of my mouth because my brain thinks that something is wrong. Russell Wilson. He's been quite shaky at times throughout the season. The O-line for the Seahawks, as we mentioned when they traded Max Unger, they've been really, really struggling. Got no ground game. Marshawn Lynch, again, misses tonight's game. And Wilson's been relying on broken plays, but you're not going to get... That's only going to carry you so far. And Cincinnati at home, that's going to be a rough game. Are the Bengals the most complete team in the NFL? There's a lot of talk about the Buffalo Bills probably having the best roster top to bottom, minus the quarterback situation. So when you factor in how well that Andy Dalton is playing, that 1-2 punch at running back in Hill and Bernard that I've been banging the drum is probably the best 1-2 punch in the NFL. The Bengals probably are the best team top to bottom in all fairness. Yeah, David says Bengals Seattle's could be a good game. I've seen some of the Bengals sort of highlights. I've not actually sat down and watched the game in full. I think John says he's going to watch via the Red Zone. David says Red Zone to La Pats play. I'm watching Chiefs Bears and then probably check out the Broncos Raiders later. That could be an interesting game as well. The Broncos usually wipe the floor with the Raiders, but the Raiders look decent at the moment. A hell of a lot better than expected. Next one then, we have the Redskins 2-2 at the 4-0 Falcons. Falcons 4-0. Who would have thought that, given what happened last year? The turnaround in Atlanta has been absolutely phenomenal. There's always this team that goes from worst to first, so they say, or first to worst. I did not see the Falcons doing this. Both teams have been running the ball very well. And it's the Redskins as well. They've been a surprise. Most people had them finishing towards the neck end of their division. And in fairness, I know we're only into week 5, but Redskins playing some decent ball there. The Jaguars and the Bucks, is it too early to call this a toilet bowl? A bit harsh, maybe. Jags were the better team last week against the Colts. Should have beat them. The Kickers, they've been... I nearly swore then. The Kickers have been woeful, to say the very least. We had not talked about that very much. Any thoughts on the kicking stuff? Anyone in the chat room? What's the crack here? Does anyone know what... not know, or any sort of... any theory on what's going on with the kickers these days? Is something in the head? Is it just bad placement? I have no idea. But was it 13 or 16 kicks last week? I know there was a hell of a lot, in all fairness. Dropping into the chat room, Robert says it's Saints v Eagles for him, as expected, with them being on the TV this week. He says we might as well embarrass ourselves on UK TV as well as in the US. And they played all right last week. I watched them against Cowboys. It was a decent game, in fairness. That's the next one on my board. This team. Both teams. Eagles as well. Eagles have been awful. So Eagles, Saints, 1-3. This could be Toilet Bowl 2. Sorry, Robert. Could this end up 9-6, anyone? It's both offenses really, really struggle at the moment. CJ Spiller sort of got going last week, so hopefully we can move on. So many teams, 1-3. Jags, Bucks, 1-3. Saints, Eagles. The next game is the Browns and the Ravens. They are also both 1-3. Simon's just messaged me saying his computer is rebooting, so we will have the fantasy news in a moment. The 1-3 Browns at the 1-3 Ravens. Both teams at the mercy of kickers last week, with the Browns doing Browns things whilst the Ravens squeaked past the Steelers. If you didn't see the Browns They kicked a winning field goal only for... no, the kicker missed a... Did he miss? Someone missed a field goal and jumped offside. That was it, and they had to retake the kick. And Browns, being the Browns, missed it, and it was an absolute nightmare. As for the Ravens wide receivers, where are the Ravens wide receivers? Steve Smith is trying to do his best. He's got all sorts of cracks and stuff now in his back. Steve Smith is an animal, but I can't remember if he's actually playing this week or not. Something I should have checked. Justin Forsett, he finally got going last week. Another team that confuses me at the moment is the Rams. The Rams were fantastic last week. Enjoyed that game as well. That was a good slugfest against Arizona. Up against the Packers 4-0. The matchup that I've been hearing a lot about is this Rams D-line against the Packers O-line. Packers have a sneaky good O-line, but that's going to be... it's going to be one hell of a battle. Can the Rams, can they follow on their form from last week? Or will they do what they did? Was it week 2? They beat the Seahawks week 1, went to Washington, lay an egg. Will they lay an egg in a Lambeau Field? Tavon Austin, he's finally getting used. Todd Gurley performance last week, 100-odd yards in the second half. So Gurley, Lacey, that could be interesting there. Who will get the better of the matchup there? Bills Titans. Last time Marcus Mariota faced the defensive mind was it the Browns wanted to Mike Pettin, a disciple of Rex Ryan's defense. So how will Marcus Mariota cope? I'm intrigued by this one. Will Mariota be flustered, under pressure, or will he work it out? How will he cope? So this is one for if you're a Titans fan, and I'm just curious, if I'm honest, if he can dissect this and build on what he saw previously and learn. If he goes in the can and it doesn't work out for Mariota, then that gives us a bit of an insight for him. But if he comes out just slinging that ball, breaking down the Rex Ryan defense, this is nothing but good things if you are a Titans fan moving forward. Talking of quarterbacks that I can't work out, Tyrod Taylor, to me, I just can't figure him out. Some weeks he looks sensational. Some weeks I just think, what are you doing? So that's your Bills. Jags, as we mentioned, Sky game, Patriots, Cowboys. We know that the Patriots coming off a bye week, they just blitz past anyone, so it should be an easy win for the Patriots in all fairness. And Brandon Weeden, he's done his part in all fairness, but injuries are killing this Cowboys team. Last team I want to mention then before we go to Simon, because I've just seen he's rebooted his Skype, as the Cardinals, Lions 0-4. I do believe I picked the Lions to win their division or get far in the playoffs. That seems like a crazy man prediction at the moment, but both teams will be looking to bounce back after last week. And Simon looks like Joe Philby, and this is the ongoing joke at the Dundee crowd. We'll mention that in a minute. Hello, Simon.
How you doing, Mark?
I am very well, sir.
Good.
I was just mentioning, I've seen a lot of stuff. I don't know if I should. I'll mention it on air now. You'll hear it anyway. The guys at the Dundee NFL 4th Down and Out podcast have been comparing you a lot to a certain sacked head coach.
Well, I'm not too sure about that. As I was saying to Chad Ochocinco, that was many years ago, I was firm with him, Mark. I was firm with him. Everybody saw it on Hard Knocks. I definitely told him he needed to go in a very, very firm way, and that's the way I've treated the rest of my team, and I've been bad. Who?
So, Mr. Philbin.
Oh dear!
I have no idea what to say.
Shocking.
I am, yes, shocking. That just about figures it. How have you been, buddy? Obviously, with the Wembley show last week, I didn't get to speak to any of you guys, but you did send emails and stuff over to me. I did read it out, but the internet connection absolutely killed me outside Wembley, if I'm honest.
Oh, another feeling, mate. Another feeling. Yeah, been good. Apart from the Browns ruining my season, but I'm used to that sort of already, as you already know. But yeah, pretty good actually. We haven't recorded a podcast this week because all three of us couldn't get together on the same day, which is a bit of a shame. But we should be back in action next week. So everybody out there will just listen to the latest 4th Down Out podcast next week. But yeah, we're pretty good actually, Mark. Pretty good. I really enjoyed watching the Jets demolish the Dolphins last week, but pretty much as we predicted as well, really. So yeah, but I enjoyed the London game, and obviously looking forward to week 5 in the NFL.
Yeah, there's some interesting matchups this week. Some cracking games on paper. As I was reading out a few previews earlier, saying like the Rams Packers sort of intrigued me. Mariota against that Rex Ryan defense, having faced the Mike Pettin one a few weeks ago where he struggled. The Raiders, Broncos, that's usually a whitewash of the Broncos, but the Raiders are improved as well. And there's a Steelers Chargers on Monday, both teams 2-2 as well. That's a very interesting game for me.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Mark. Like I said, there are some really interesting matchups. Like I said, the Rams Packers one sort of interests me.
Yeah.
Can the Rams get to use that defense and get to Aaron Rodgers? Yeah, something tells me that perhaps they can't, but I think they'll give it a good go.
Yeah.
Because the Green Bay defense isn't great, but it's okay. Obviously, they did well okay against the 49ers, and that was pretty comfortable last week. But it'd just be interesting to see against some of the sort of the more powerful defenses out there, and whether they can actually come up trumps. But we shall wait and see. However, this sounds like we've actually spoken to each other before this, because what I want to talk about is defenses when we're leading up to fantasy football in week 5.
Did we just segue without knowing?
We did, didn't we?
Wow.
So, kick off with that anyway. Just a reminder, as we usually do, that obviously bye weeks have now come into fully operation, and Carolina, Miami, New York Jets, and the Minnesota Vikings are all in a bye week this week. So again, just everybody out there, just check your teams in case they've got anybody from those franchises on your fantasy football. And yeah, just like I said, Mark, just going to concentrate on defense and special teams just for the immediate future.
Yeah.
Again, I keep saying this every week, but need to look at fantasy football teams on a week-to-week basis rather than sort of that's it, choose my team and we'll go with it throughout the year. And again, defense is probably the most matchup dependent, I think, of any of the starting slots in a fantasy football team. So I can't emphasise enough really that playing these sort of matchups and looking at your defence and special teams each week could very well give anybody out there listening a vital extra points that could make the difference between winning and losing, of course. I generally tend to sort of pick a defence at the beginning of the season for the fantasy in the drafts, but then I'll generally switch it depending on the basis of the matchup every week. So it's always pretty good to have a look at the defences, even if you're looking at a couple of defences that you perhaps don't think are very trendy at all, but have a look at the points that they've scored as well in previous weeks and how they're doing, especially if they're at home as well, is always a good one to look at, Mark, and against any of these sort of lower.
Oh, Simon's fell into a wind tunnel.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. Yeah, it's sort of like you fell into a wind tunnel and then you come back.
Blown away again. I shut down in flames usually, but blown away this time. So yeah, going to kick off with the Kansas City Chiefs defense and special teams, and they are hosting the Chicago Bears this week. Weird one, people might think. The Chiefs defense has been leaking a few points of late. They've been burned recently by the Packers and the Bengals, to mind. But they're playing Chicago this week at home at Arrowhead, which is always a good place for the Chiefs, obviously. And the Bears aren't really one of the top offences in the NFL, even with Jay Cutler back. And let's be honest, Mark, we can certainly rely on Jay Cutler to throw a couple of touchdowns, a couple of interceptions, should I say, in the game as well. So anybody looking there, the Chiefs defence could, against the matchup as well, against the Bears, could be a good one as well. You sound like you're in a wind tunnel now, Mark.
I don't know what's going on, in all fairness. I'm giving up with technology of late. I really am. Technology is just, yeah.
Quite right too. Right, I'm going to go back to an old favourite, the New York Giants.
Oh no!
Play all your Giants.
All Giants.
Just play the Giants' defence and special teams this week. It's only owned by about 3% altogether of fantasy football owners. You can probably understand why, but they are hosting the San Francisco 49ers this week, Mark. Are the 49ers any good on offence? Not yet. Colin Kaepernick is definitely struggling, Mark.
I can't recall the last time I saw a quarterback at such a height from like a couple of plays away from winning the Super Bowl to like this bizarre fall from grace. And I know a few people mention it on other sort of podcasts and that I've listened to, but all this is like without a major injury as well. It's really bizarre.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? He's sort of getting some flack from his own players as well, isn't he? Because he's just missing the balls downfield. He's hardly passing it beyond 10 yards every time. So so it's very difficult to see the 49ers travelling cross country, playing against a sort of a rejuvenated Giants team, sort of getting anywhere really, especially with that offence. And the Giants' defence has been pretty decent this season. They're obviously outperforming sort of a lot of pre-season expectations. They've scored 11 fantasy points in 3 of the last 4 games, Mark, as well.
Wow.
So 11 points, could make all the difference, we say. And of course, against the 49ers, they're a bit of a mess, aren't they, offensively?
Yeah.
Colin Kaepernick's got a 66 passer rating on the road, 37 passer rating on third downs. And obviously the 49ers have scored, I think it's something like a combined 10 points in the last 2 weeks. So again, Giants defense is looking pretty tasty in the matchup this week. So anybody out there looking for something that just might tip the balance in your favour, have a think about the Giants defense and special teams as well. Finally, on the defense and special teams, everybody's talking about the Atlanta Falcons offense this year, but the defense is doing pretty decent as well. That's very underrated. They achieved 19 points last week, Mark.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Which is almost as good as it's pretty much as good as you're going to get from your quarterback point of view as well.
Some weeks definitely.
So they've been pretty much better at home as well this season in terms of the points, and they are hosting the Washington franchise this week. So again, another what you'd think is a favourable matchup. Washington, as we know, have got quarterback Kirk Cousins. He's got pretty much a decent gift for sort of some epic collapses.
Yeah, he's
been very, very inconsistent.
He's definitely a two-pick game person, isn't he, at times?
Absolutely. And the Falcons are flying high, so to speak, pardon the pun. But they are doing really, really well. The matchup's fantastic.
I never would have thought that you'd come on and mention the Falcons and Giants defenses.
There you go, you say. Again, just look at the matchups. Look at the matchups out there. Right, that's the Falcons. So just three choices there in terms of defences as well to think about, to swap around before that'll probably be available on the waiver wire as well. And I've just got a couple more general players to consider that people probably might not do, with the exception of possibly one. The first one is the Cleveland Browns tight end Gary Barnidge. Now, he seems to be Josh McCown's favourite target over the last couple of weeks or so. He's got 6 receptions at 75 yards and 1 receiving touchdown in the last 2 weeks, which is not bad. And he seems to be sort of an integral part of the Browns' so-called offensive passing attack. So again, if people are missing sort of tight ends through either injury or the bye week, or it's just worth considering because he's been used quite a lot in the Browns' offense. And the Baltimore Ravens are pretty susceptible over the middle as well to the tight ends. On the opposite side of that game as well, now the Baltimore Ravens are really struggling in terms of offensive production as well, and the wide receivers are going down like flies. Mark, they're playing the Browns today. Obviously, the Browns' defense is the worst in the league. Mike Pettin, if you're listening. And Ray Farmer, for that matter. So I've put somebody called Kamar Aiken. He's a Baltimore wide receiver on the list, and that's basically due to the fact that he's the number 1 receiver for Baltimore this week. So you've got Steve Smith, Rashad Perriman, and Michael Campanaro all out. So who's Joe Flacco going to throw to? So again, it could be a steal. It might be a complete bust. You never know, but he might be well worth just taking a flyer on that one as well.
Yeah, I was just reading the chat room there. John Cartwright, he says, too late, guys. He's already starting Gary Barnidge in the zone coverage league. Wow.
Yeah, so good. Might be a good call. Might be a good call this week as well. And just the last one as well. Somebody we've heard from before, Tavon Austin, the wide receiver for the St. Louis Rams. We talked about the matchup against the Packers being quite an intriguing one as well. I still think the Packers' defense is slightly dodgy. Obviously, this is Austin's 3rd year in the league. I think he had something like 96 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Arizona Cardinals last week, Mark. So again, it might be just somebody that the Rams are looking sort of to look at in terms of the wide receiver position, sort of ramp up his rate and his strike rate as well, and he could be a legitimate sort of number 3 wide receiver if anybody's out there that needs one.
Yeah, they've been using him out of the backfield and all sorts. So they finally just figured out how to use him.
Yeah, and he's on the field for 89% of the Rams' snaps last Sunday as well.
Wow, definitely want to start there then. Awesome stuff as always then, Simon. Thank you.
There you go. Yeah, that's it for this week.
Excellent. So no podcast this week, but you'll be back together to get the gang back together.
Middle of next week.
Middle of next week, drop a pod. Yeah. Until then, at Dundee NFL, 4th Down and Out on the good old World Wide Web. Just if you've not checked it out, get back, iTunes, Stitcher, and all those wonderful places. I know you guys have been clamouring for getting a review on iTunes is difficult, isn't it? And it helps out a lot. So if anyone can do that before you've got an hour and 10 minutes, go on iTunes and stuff. So 4th Down and Out podcast, do go and rate that. Simon, as always, buddy, appreciate you coming on. Some good advice there. Will Davis has just picked up the Giants D as well. So Everyone apart from me
there,
is on the ball. So I'm going to talk about fantasy in a moment anyway, in regards to the league and how miserable my team is. So, Simon, I appreciate the help, buddy. Good luck with your Browns tonight, and we shall speak next week, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think it'll be next week. Cheers, Mark.
Excellent. Cheers, Simon. Take care.
Speak to you later. Bye-bye.
And there we have it. We are out of the wind tunnel there, so I appreciate everyone sticking with us on that. So that was the Chiefs defense, Falcons defense, Giants D, Browns tight end Gary Barnidge, Tavon Austin, to name a few there. Right then, I've mentioned the Zone Coverage Fantasy League for a while, and the longer I leave it, the more it looks like I'm dodging my miserable start to the season. So I'm just going to visit it now. So we have the Hamster Cheeks of John. He started off 4-0. This is a Division 1. Stockport Falcons via Stephen. He's 2-2. The Blaintree Bruisers, they are also 2-2. And the New Gib Patriots, they prop up that division 1-3. Eisen of the Tiger Will, he's also 4-0. Cameron's like a boss as 2-2. I am technically not bottom because I am 0-4 with my new team name of TC's Tossers. They are no longer the Titans of Tees for obvious 0-4 reasons. And then the NFL fan pub, Sean, he is 0-4 also. I do believe I've scored more points than him, hence me not being bottom. So TC Tossers, I might have to change that in all fairness. In Division 3 then, Luton Lightning is 3-1. That's Terry's team. John's PA FC Cowboys, they are also 3-1. Emerald City Hawks also 3-1 in that division, and the Wee Man props up Division 3 1-3. Into Division 4, Ashley's Bulls remain perfect. He is 3-1. Fourth down and out under the guideship of Martin. They are 2-2. Right Rhinos are also 2-2, and Star All Giants are 0-4 also. The wife has come in and is trying to disrupt me. Distract me and correct me. Anyway, that is this week's that is the standings so far and the fantasy. Touch base with that. Who's playing who today? I have no idea. I can't find where that button's gone now. Where's the fantasy? So this week, matchup wise, I play the Stockport Falcons. We have the Hamster Cheeks against Star Old Giants, Eisen of Tiger against the NFL Fan Pub, Blaintree Bruisers, New Gib Patriots, Leica Bars, Luton Lightning, Right Rhinos play the Wee Man United, and the PAFC Cowboys play the Emerald City Hawks, and Ashley's My Balls Are Perfect plays Martin's fourth down and out. So fingers crossed for a win for me this week. Right then, yes, my fantasy points on the bench. Let's not talk fantasy football any longer. It is an absolute disgrace. My end. Let's bring back. We've got 10 minutes. We've got 10 minutes. Let's bring back an old favourite, the good old not so great 8. Don't know if you guys remember this one. If you are a new listener, basically most programs, shows, or whatever do their power rankings 32-1. Obvious. You know me, it's very unorthodox here. We just throw together whatever. So the not so great 8, or a team that I feel is the bottom of the division, regardless of record, based solely on the performances that I've seen. So 8 divisions, at the bottom. 8, not so great 8. Here we go. AFC East. We will start off with very, very easy one for me. Dolphins, a 1-3 start after all this promise that they're going to be a playoff team this year. Tannehill signed his new contract. Sue was the big money move in the free agency. They got no sacks so far through 4 games. There's this Tannehill story as well regarding the practice squad players and all this sort of stuff. So he's sort of shown his, I was just saying, not immaturity or whatever, shown a side of Tannehill that we'd not seen before. Basically, it's a mess over in Miami, so not so great 8-wise. I'm going to play. I've got a couple of songs. Which one shall we play for the not so... Oh, we've got the booze. That was the one. The not so great 8. So the Miami Dolphins are they prop up the AFC East in my eyes. On then to the AFC North. For me here, it was a tough decision, but I'm going to put the Ravens. And they only just beat the Steelers, and the Steelers were without Big Ben. They got smoked by the Raiders. They've got no weapons on offense, no ground game up until last week. You could argue that you could put the Browns here, bottom of this division. Browns beat the Titans. Should have beat the Chargers, but they were doing Brownsy type things. Same issues in regards to the run. I just feel overly disappointed by the Ravens. And don't get me wrong, we could swap these and come next week if I'd done it a week later. But for now, the Ravens, you're not so great 8. I put you at the bottom of the AFC North and my bizarre power ranking. So Ravens fans. Next then we go to the AFC South, and this one is basically down to Bill O'Brien just having the most bizarre quarterback competition ever known to just grace the face of the planet. It is an absolute mess. All that talent on defense as well. Clowney, Watt, Brian Cushing. I've not heard of Brian Cushing since Hard Knocks. He was all mouth on that. We've not seen him on the field once. So the Texans for me are just a complete and absolute abomination at the moment. So Texans, you prop up the AFC South and the not so great 8, so rightfully you get this. And John's already called it as we go into the West. And the Chiefs fans, I'm afraid that the Raiders, to me, are an improved team. The Chargers, they're getting by mainly thanks to Phillip Rivers. Chiefs last week, 7 field goals? No, it was. 7 field goals, can't convert on third downs. And I mentioned this the other week as well. Andy Reid's play sheet has to be the biggest play sheet you've ever seen on the sidelines. And he's got no third down calls on it. So, Chiefs fans and John, I'm sorry, buddy, but I've got to do this. What I've seen so far from the Chiefs, and I get that the schedule's been rough, but I have you as the worst team in the West. So, sorry, buddy, but... Right then, on into the NFC East we go, and the worst team in my eyes has to be the Philadelphia Eagles. They've got no offense, no line, no running game, and basically no clue. If I was an Eagles fan, I would be very, very worried about the direction that this team is going. I saw a report in the week where Chip Kelly was saying, we're a couple of field goals away from being 3-1 rather than 1-3. Yeah, that's all good in hindsight, Chip, but the bottom line is that you could be, that you are 1-3. It's been absolutely woeful. It looks like it's basically a mess. The Redskins as well, they've looked vastly improved. They've got a very, very good run game. The Cowboys got off to a hot start. Injuries are catching up with them. So Eagles, you win a couple. Cowboys carry on losing. We'll swap places probably. But for now, Philadelphia Eagles doing a very, very poor job in all facets of the game, top to bottom. It's a mess. Right then, on then to the NFC West, and we mentioned it when I was talking to Simon. Colin Kaepernick and the 49ers, maybe they are 40-miners playing on the pitch. Wow, today's been a long day. 49ers, anyway, Colin Kaepernick looks that bad that I'm actually starting to feel sorry for him. Where's that run game from week 1 where they absolutely demolished the Minnesota Vikings? The Rams said can't work them out, they look improved. The Seahawks, they're now on the up, and the Cardinals are the team to beat in the West. So the San Francisco 49ers, you're really going to have to dig deep. I can see you being bottom of the West in my not so great 8 rankings throughout the remainder of the season. So 49ers fans... And we segue from one bad quarterback to another quarterback as we go NFC North. And yes, you've guessed it, the good old Chicago Bears. I'm putting them bottom. And I know a few people are going to say, whoa, hang on a minute. The Lions haven't won a game yet. True, and I hear you, and I respect your opinion there. But for me, what I saw the Lions do at the Seahawks on Monday night, I've not seen a team do that to the Seahawks for a while. Granted, the Rams beat him, but I thought the Lions, they were impressive to me. Matthew Stafford can sort of get those drives going towards the end of the game throughout the course of an entire game. That'd be a nice start. So I've seen life. They've been without DeAndre Levy as well. So if we could get him, but I do believe he starts today, so that'd be good. So I feel the Lions, they're on the up, the 0-4 record. They should be 1-3. The Bears, they're just the Bears, aren't they? The Bears, they've been hit by injuries and stuff. It's just a tire fire at the moment. So the Chicago Bears, I'm done telling you how bad you are, because you know how bad you are, so you deserve this. And last but not least then, the NFC South, and yes, when it's going bad across your line, your run game. Jameis Winston's throwing interceptions, as we sort of expect. I've got to cut him a bit of slack. He is a rookie and all that, but they've got no home win. And what must be now, is it the last 11 games? And if you cannot win at home, you will be bottom of my not-so-great rankings. So Tampa Bay Buccaneers, bad job all the way around. Right then, that is the not-so-great 8 rundown. We will touch base on that again in around about 4 or 5 weeks, something like that. So we have no Tom, and it's 5 o'clock already. Somehow we've managed 90 minutes of the show. I'm just going to give you some last-minute team news that I've been sort of jotting down as the show's gone on. I've not got news from every single game, but what I've got should hopefully help you as we head towards kickoff within the next hour. So Seahawks-Bengals game, I do believe that running back Fred Jackson, he has a game-time decision. He has a high ankle sprain. As we mentioned, no Lynch, so Thomas Rawls starts once again at running back. For the Pats, D lineman Trey Flowers, he is out against the Cowboys. Raiders defensive back TJ Carries, he's gone from being out to questionable. That is, of course, for the Broncos game tonight. He's been playing safety in the place of Nate Allen. Also in that game, Demaryius Thomas is listed as probable. Again, this might have changed over the course of the last hour or so. The Chargers-Steelers game on Monday night, the Chargers are without pretty much everyone. Wide receiver Stevie Johnson, left guard Orlando Franklin is out. King Dunlop, concussion, listed as doubtful. Cornerback Jason Verrett, foot. Brandon Flowers and wide receiver Malcolm Floyd, they are questionable. They are both returning from concussions, but have practiced this week. For the Steelers, linebacker Ryan Shazier, he's out with a shoulder injury. Packers-Rams, wide receiver Devontae Adams and safety Morgan Burnett, they look set to go. Both been downgraded from doubtful to questionable. This happened over the course of last night. Saints and Eagles, left tackle Terran Armstead, he's out, knee injury. First round pick Anders Pete, he looks set to start then at left tackle. Also punter, some punter news. Thomas Morstead, he is out with a quad injury. Brandon Fields, he will be playing this week as he was signed in the week. 49ers, Giants, mentioned tight end Vernon Davis, he's out. Vance McDonald is going to start there. Left tackle Joe Staley is questionable with a knee injury. Linebacker Ahmed Brooks, also doubtful. For the Giants, linebacker Devon Kennard, D-lineman Robert Ayers Jr. and George Salvi, they are all out. Lions and the Cardinals, the return of linebacker DeAndre Levy should have a huge impact for the Lions here. It's his season debut. Defensive tackle Haloti Ngata, he's also out. Running back Joik Ball, tight end Eric Ebron, they are also out. And guard Larry Wolford is questionable. Bills-Titans. What we got? Bills-Titans, Titans cornerback Jason McCourtney is listed as probable. The Ravens and the Ravens-wise, left tackle Eugene Monroe listed as probable. He's missed the last 3 games with a concussion. Tight end Crockett Gilmore and defensive end Chris Canty also out. Redskins and Falcons, linebacker Justin Durant is out. And the Jags-Bucks, the only bit of news I saw was that tight end and huge free agent acquisition for the Jaguars, Julius Thomas, is set to make his season debut for the Jaguars. So that is your last minute sort of team news. I know it's a poor job. Tom usually takes over from here and does the job there. So as we said, hope the little man is getting well, Tom. That concludes this week's not Hot Route. Talking of Hot Route, actually, that's another good segue. Hot Route this week We asked you to vote on Marcus Williams, Rashard Jennings, CJ Spiller and Cam Chancellor. CJ Spiller won that by a vote over Cam Chancellor. So CJ Spiller, expect nothing in the post from the Zone Coverage Football Show. You are this week's winner. All right, awesome stuff. Right, folks, that is it. Done and dusted. We battled through 90 minutes. Again, in regards to Dennis at AZBoden on Twitter, AZBODEN. Dennis Moss on Facebook, Instagram. His website is wrongshapedballs.com. Send some tweets Dennis's way. Keep an eye on his progress. He is at his 10th NFL stadium tonight. I am reaching for my pen. I can't find it. Not good. Anyway, that is it. Done and dusted. Zone Coverage Football Show wrapping up. Ratings, reviews, iTunes, Stitcher and all that. Thanks for everyone that's joined me in the chat room this week. It's been a pleasure. Hopefully the signal has held up for the full 90-odd minutes. We'll be back next Sunday. Hopefully we'll get people on fan versus fan. So enjoy today's games. And remember, hustle, hit and never quit. Today's show is brought to you by ZoneCoverageFootballShow.com. If you're missing the live shows, then fear not, as you'll find us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and now YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us some feedback. And until next Sunday, hustle, hit, and never quit.